Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on the website. We want to ask our panel, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show, but you didn't? Chris Fitzsimon, we'll start with you.
Well, we talked about the lawsuit the governor recently won, at least at the three-judge panel level, against the General Assembly for separation of powers for appointive issues. And John mentioned in the things that we don't know about the new incentive plan the Senate has rolled out. I think the theme of this session, one of the big themes, is the battle between the governor and the Senate, which we saw last time, which this past week got even more heated. The comments after the Senate rolled out its incentive plan, which did not very much of what McCrory wanted, was as sharp an exchange as they have had in public since McCrory was elected. First, the governor criticized them, and the words that came back from the Senate leadership
even with Secretary Bosch?
Well, yeah, actually it was. And the words that came back from Senator Berger and other Senate leaders was very sharp, and it's going to be interesting to see if these, not only how the incentive bill comes out, the final thing, but what happens to the relationship between those two leaders as this session goes on.
Joe, what do you wish you'd have said?
Well, I want to pick up on what Chris is talking about. I think that the three-judge panel decision and the response from the Senate leadership indicates just how poisoned the relationship is and how difficult that makes it for Republican leadership across the state. It's not going to get any better. In my opinion, I think it's going to get worse. And the last thing you need in 2016 is a fractured situation between the executive branch and the Senate. And I think you're going to put a lot of Republican leadership in the point of having to decide which side they're going to come down on. And I think in that case, you may very well see the North Carolina Senate leadership change because of this poisonous situation.
During session? Or
no, afterwards.
After session.
Yeah.
Peg, what do you wish you'd have said?
Well, also talking about the court decision, two observations. One, when you said how quickly this decision came down, I think one of the things you need to be aware, all three of these people are trial court judges, and so they move fast. They don't have time to lollygag, and they're used to issuing decisions in a timely fashion. So I think that's what was behind the quick decision. The other thing is, I think it's ironic that the legislature created this three-judge panel type court as a perfect example of forum shopping, and then didn't get what they wanted.
And now got shot in the foot by
I was going to use an even more explicit term, but that's exactly right.
John, what do you wish you'd have said?
Well, dovetailing on that, but thinking about other kinds of unanticipated consequences or backfires, both sides may be guilty of thinking too much about taking the current situation, a Republican governor or a Republican legislature, and straight line extrapolating it. Well, if I'm the legislature, well, why would we want to give up power to the governor? There may be a Democratic governor after 2017, and we're going to be in charge, and that's why the legislature should have more appointive powers. Or alternatively, who knows what the legislature is going to look like, but we're going to still be. You shouldn't assume anything, because North Carolina is a competitive state, and even with the current district maps, by the time you get towards 2020, just like the Republicans took over in 2010 under Democratic maps, you never really know. And I certainly hope they're not making their legal decisions based upon their partisan assumptions, but of course, that's probably what they're doing.
Well, thank you for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.